featuring Adrian Lockhart, Brooklyn Anderl, Dana Jensen, Tim Kearney, Carly Tinsley, Brittany McIntosh, and Cody Callanan.
Good evening, and welcome to The Update. I'm Adrian Lockhart.
And I'm Brooklyn Anderl, and here we go with our final episode of the season.
RoboCop, Freddy Krueger, and maybe even Jon Snow. The fictional universe is full of examples of characters that cheat death. But soon these resurrections might actually become reality. A company named Humai has begun research on transferring the human mind into an artificial body, bringing us one step closer to singularity. The company is collecting data from various people and trying to develop an artificial body that they can live in after death. But these robotic bodies would use real human brains. The participants have agreed to have their brains frozen until the technology is ready to resurrect them. Here's the real shocker though. Humai thinks they'll be able to do this within the next 30 years. I know, immortality seems like a pretty exciting prospect, but make sure to keep your hopes in check. I've been scammed 6 times because of this movie that predicted that hoverboards would be ready by 2015.
Cyber Monday was more popular than ever this year, as many people decided to shop from the comfort and safety of their homes. But Amazon wasn't the only place to find some great deals. This year, the dark net decided to join in on the festivities. The dark net is made up of the online black market, and it sells around $500,000 of illegal drugs a day. This year, vendors such as the Goddess of Ganja were offering crazy Black Friday discounts on some classy substances, like weed, cocaine, and even meth. Druggies everywhere stocked up on products such as military-grade LSD to fill each other's stockings. We don't really recommend that you try this at home, though. This kind of stuff is pretty unregulated, and there have been reports of the drugs being cut with some pretty weird substances, including worm poison. But if you really have to buy some Molly for Grandma, we recommend that you buy locally.
Continuing with the Black Friday theme this year, Irish priests decided to make a stand at local malls. 16 priests announced that they will be preaching and hearing confessions in various major shopping centers. They say that it's part of a plan to modernize the church, but we really know what's going on. It's just to help the shoppers with their Irish guilt. Now you can charge into any store, beat up a 5-year-old for that new Xbox, chug some Baileys, and get it all forgiven before you even get back to your car. This has inspired me to get ordained. I mean, I hear there's a huge market in the darknet, and I'm pretty sure that Skype confessions are just as valid as regular ones.
We have reports of a brand new way of keeping ISIS out of New York, the Italian mob. A famous mobster's son recently issued a warning to ISIS saying that New York is under the protection of the mafia and that they can take better care of the city than the feds. Gambino, the son of the notorious John Gambino, claims that ISIS can't get a foothold in Sicily because the mob keeps them out. He even says that American neighborhoods under Sicilian control should feel safe. Makes you wonder, what else could the mafia be doing better than the government? Maybe students would work harder if their teachers had them say hello to their little friend. Airport security lines would definitely move faster if they had a forget about it sort of attitude. Hell, maybe we should be investigating in a third-party military that will make ISIS an offer they can't refuse. Now to Brittany with entertainment.
This week in entertainment, we learned more about Donald Trump's political influences. Apparently, the TV celebrities has inspired others considering running for office, including Will Smith, the hip-hop, Oscar-winning Fresh Prince, says that he might conquer another vocation within the next years. Smith says that he has trouble sleeping because of the social economic situation of the United States, and that he wants to use his voice to help the American dream. Honestly, Smith is one of the only recent well-spoken celebrities who would actually pull this off. With this in mind, I'd like to invite him to consider the joining of the Democratic Party. Republicans, you have Kanye, Lindsay Lohan, and Trump. They're all smarter than Carson, and you guys will obviously do whatever it takes to get those presidential debate Nielsen ratings. We also have another story about the most expensive CD sale of all time. Wu-Tang Clan's new secret album. That's right, the legendary rap group made a CD that only had one copy. The CD has been on a museum tour, but even those who attended the tour could not listen to it. There's only one copy and it sold for somewhere in the millions of dollars to a private American art collector. The record is an hour and a half long and comes with a super fancy case, a book explaining lyrics and songs, and a state-of-the-art sound system. It even has story skits between the songs. They describe it as screenplay. The real catch is that the buyer can't release a CD for the public for the next 88 years. Now, before you get butthurt and start planning a heist on the art collection, keep in mind that Wu-Tang has come out with a public album this week. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Brittany. There are many companies out there that serve many purposes. There are dress stores, makeup stores, sex toy shops, baby stores, daycare centers, loan centers. I think that's enough insight into my personal life. But anyways, there's a new business in Japan called Aikimiso Danshi that will send an Aikimiso boy, translated as a handsome weeping boy, to wipe your tears away should you begin to cry at work. The boys come in a variety of different styles, from intelligent Aikimiso boys, very clean cut, to show-of-face adult Aikimiso boys, who come with more of a punk rock look. I know I definitely use this service a little too often. However, I do have the honor of having one of the Aikimiso boys on our show. Obviously, one of the more show-of-face boys.
Hello, it is an honor to be here.
Now tell me, Daisuke, how did you get hired by Aikimiso Danshi?
Well, I was actually washing the windows, and the owner of the company happened to be passing by. He saw how well I wiped the water away with the squeegee. He offered me a job right on the spot, and 1 year later, here I am.
How do you like working for Aikimiso Danshi? Isn't it a little awkward?
Oh, no, Adena, I love it. I get to look stylish and help people out. I consider it more of a public service than a job. And I never really felt awkward because of my window washing background. Back then, the uniforms were thongs, neon thongs. Also, these girls are crying. They need Daisuke's help.
Let's talk about that for a moment. Why are they crying at work? Aren't these grown men and women?
Well, yes, and that is exactly why they are crying. They know their life is pretty much over. Daisuke makes them feel young again. All they have to do left is retire and die. It just warms Daisuke's heart that I can wipe some of that despair away. Although hospices wipe much more despair than I ever could.
Oh, that's disgusting. Well, there you have it. One of the distinguished Aikimiso boys. Thank you so much for being with us this morning, Daisuke.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're ever having a hard time, you know who to call. It is not the Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
A recent study published by Cornell University was found that men actually eat 93% more pizza around women in a sort of modern-day mating ritual. So we're going to take to the crowd of the Cub and see if this is true, if people know that they're doing this, and what other sort of mating rituals might be occurring. All right, so let's go. It was proven that men eat 93% more pizza around women. Do you find that believable?
I would definitely agree with that, actually.
No, I've never found myself aware of eating more pizza around women.
What about food in general?
I just generally eat a lot of food. Way too much. But it's usually not driven by women.
Me, myself, I really like to eat as much as possible, not only around women, but around men too. There's just something about eating that really brings out the pheromones in women. I have found myself. So I would just suggest to any man out there, eat a lot in front of your girl.
Okay.
Maybe it's more masculine to have a clean plate than a full one, I guess?
It is the underlying factor in the mating ritual in U.S. culture.
I don't usually notice how much other people are eating, So I think that would be the main problem with that theory is, the men may be trying to be more manly, but the women aren't seeing that and noticing it.
Do you have any other form of mating rituals that you feel that you do and have succeeded or not succeeded?
I've succeeded with guitar. I can also break dance.
I watched these 60 Minutes last night. They had all these apes, and that's their mating ritual, is just to have sex. I mean, you ought to check out that video. I mean, that's what they do first. The very first thing you do, not the last thing. It's the first thing you do.
Oh, check out if they're good enough.
Yeah. But I haven't. I guess I'm too old for that or something.
Sure. I eat the that is the one thing that is really downplayed in American culture is eating the and that is something I definitely partake in.
Most effective mating ritual would just be being nice to other people. Compliments, empathy, those are the big two.
The big generic ones. Everybody knows already. All right, well, thank you very much for your input. Maybe this is going to enlighten all the men that overstuff themselves. So there you have it. And some people seem to be aware of this, actually. So yeah, back to the desk.
Just last week, Bill Nye, everyone's favorite science guy, told the Huffington Post that there could possibly be a connection between global warming and terrorism. Of course, his comments have stirred quite a reaction from many people, one of whom is our very own correspondent, Carly Tinsley. Carly, we would thank you for coming on, but it was you that demanded time on this week's episode.
That's correct, Brooklyn, because honestly, I don't think I've ever been more upset. I mean, I haven't even gotten my favorite peppermint mocha latte with 1% milk and extra whipped cream all week because I've been running off pure anger.
That actually sounds terrifying. Now, Carly, what exactly is it about Bill Nye's comments that make you so upset?
What about the fact that I thought of this first?
I'm sorry.
Global warming and terrorism. I was the first person to connect the two trends. I've been saying it since day one. But now this Bill guy is getting all the credit and all the praise just because he's some sort of professional scientist or something on TV.
Okay, so for all of our viewers who have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, could you elaborate?
Of course, the whole thing's really not that complicated. The world's getting hotter, right? Which means that not only is everyone in the Middle East getting super awful sunburns, but all the plants are dying too. So when there are no pretty flowers and apple trees around you, and there's just hot sand and people with really sensitive skin, you could see how that would make people really depressed. So then these people ask themselves, well, where do they have sunscreen and water for these plants? And the answer is places like Paris and Beirut and the US. But because they can't just keep flying back and forth to buy Banana Boat half moisturizer, half aloe, which I personally recommend for skin like mine, they have to scare the rest of the world into sending them water, closed-toed shoes, etc., hence the terrorist attacks. So, you see, organizations like ISIS and Al-Qaeda are really just people whose arid climates disallow them from pursuing the luxurious life of all other citizens in this world have grown accustomed to. I mean, they get from one place to another on camels after all. Make sense?
You know, Carly, I really don't think that's what ISIS wants, nor is that even what Bill Nye said. But thank you for that insight.
People just need to stop stealing my ideas.
Carly Tinsley, everyone. Presidential candidates are doing everything to get the voters' attention. Some of them make up facts, while others participate in comedy shows like SNL. One of the more entertaining was Bernie Sanders' appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres Show, but it got taken to a whole new level when his dance remix was made. In case you missed it, here's the clip.
I'm a little like Clayton Kershaw, throwing heat, make the ladies take their shirts off. I'm a little like Michael Jordan, tongue out and I can't stop scoring. I'm a little bit like Dwayne Wade, just got paid, probably getting laid. I'm gonna break it down for you once more. I'm a little like Clayton Kershaw.
Well, that's it for season 6. Thank you all for watching. This has been Brooklyn Anderl.
And I'm Adrian Lockhart. Remember, that's the way the cookie crumbles.